Hi, everyone, and welcome to your first lecture for technical writing. This lecture will cover what is technical writing, which is an apt question, I think, to start our course. You could have read the introduction to our technical writing textbook before this lecture, or you can read it afterwards. It's not a big deal. There's also a video in that section that you're welcome to watch or welcome to skip. We'll cover a lot of what's in that video in this course anyway, but yeah, let me share a PowerPoint presentation with you, and this will be our first lecture. So, if you remember from the syllabus video, if you watched it all the way through, one of the things I talked about was the importance of defining technical writing for yourself. And something I said then was that technical writing and some of the terms in the field are always up for debate, always up for argument. They're not kind of fixed definition kind of words. But here are a couple definitions I pulled out of different textbooks that I like, including the one we're using for this course. But the first definition here says it's the exchange of information that helps people interact with technology or solve complex problems. This is a definition of technical writing that I think is a little bit old school, but it is actually an important definition. So the keywords to think about here are interact with technology. So when you think about maybe the roots of technical writing or where you've encountered it in your life, you might think about your car manual or those little instruction booklets that come with various board games or other products. And so Lennon and Guruk, the writers of the textbook here, are saying, anything that makes you interact with technology or helps you interact with technology is technical writing, or solve complex problems, which can be much greater than just writing. So I guess a couple keywords to think about there are technology and complex problems. Um, in technical writing, we don't think about technology as like advanced technology. Like it's not always spacecraft and artificial intelligence. It can be simple everyday technologies like appliances you have in your kitchen or that you use for laundry or self-care, those kinds of things. Or complex problems. Technical writers always like thinking about some of the deep problems in education or things like that, where we're trying to figure out what's the best way to communicate with students or communicate with each other. So Susan Last, who wrote a textbook, also writes that technical communication is transactional. It entails purposeful transaction between sender and receiver that provides specific information for practical and specific purposes, and is usually geared towards the needs of a specific audience. So this introduces that term transactional. I think it's really important in a technical communication sense that when you're writing or when you're reading a piece of technical communication, it's not supposed to be a one-way street. It's supposed to cater to or foster a kind of connection between you and the writing, or you and the technology, and also between the writing and you and the technology and you. So that transactional word is a really important word to me. Here are the ones that come from your textbook. That again, it's not a big deal if you read before this video or if you're going to read it afterwards. But technical communication or technical writing, as the course is often called, is not writing about a specific technical topic, such as computers, but about any technical topic. The term technical refers to knowledge that is not widespread, that is more the territory of experts and specialists. And so we already have kind of a revision or a debate, right? Because not about specific technical topics like computers, where we hear technology up here, but any technical topic. And so what your authors, Gross and all, are getting at is that expertise isn't limited again to people in the advanced sciences. We all have different kind of techniques, or I'm sorry, we have different kind of technical expertises rather about various different topics. And anytime we write about them or explain them, that is technical writing. And yeah, I really agree with with that definition. I really like that. And then lastly, also from your textbook, technical communication is the delivery of technical information to readers or listeners or viewers in a manner that is adapted to their needs, level of understanding, and background. And so here again, we get a repetition of that specific audience thing where I might have an expertise about something, but that doesn't mean that everybody else does. So I might have to choose new words, new explanations for what I'm saying. That adapt the information to what they understand. And then another thing I really like here is that they included listeners or viewers. because we're doing writing here in this course. But yeah, technical communication is usually conceptualized as this bigger thing that can be, done with viewers of a video or listeners to say a podcast or something like that. And we'll think a little bit about that in this course as well, even though our focus really will be kind of, I guess, on the writing of documents. Here's kind of a brief history of where technical writing came from. The most, I think, accepted one is kind of this brass age of technical writing, as it became a profession for explaining weapons to soldiers in the 40s and 50s. So in the 1940s was World War II, and more people were brought into the military probably than ever before, and all their material had to be explained to them. So we saw the explosion of written materials in every soldier's hand kit. And so that's kind of the most accepted definition. But there is one earlier. Some people say that technical writing is actually of ancient origin and can go back to the earliest pieces of writing. So some of the most early discoveries of writing we have are of like receipts and trade transactions of livestock or crops. And if we consider technical writing, yeah, we think about that transactional idea of technical writing, or commuting some kind of information between two parties, then yeah, maybe technical writing was the very first kind of writing. But other people say it began with engineers around the beginning of the 20th century, when we saw that many engineering schools opened up, where people knew the math and the science really well, but might have needed some help with explaining that topic in simpler ways to, construction workers and architects and things like that. So there's all kinds of debate about where technical writing came from, but those are some of the most accepted definitions, I think. After that, the 40s and the 50s, there's what's called the beige age of technical writing, basically introducing humans to technology throughout the Cold War era. If we think about the kind of buildup of technologies between the US and the Soviet Union throughout the Cold War, yeah, people were just inventing newer and better technologies, mostly because the two countries wanted to compete with each other, even through exploring space. But the word beige age comes from the color of early computers. If you ever had like a really old desktop in your house, you might remember they're a very distinct color of beige, and each one had to come with an instruction manual to teach people how to use computers because they were brand new at that time. It's not like right now where you get a new iPhone and you pretty much know how to use it, or you get a new laptop and it comes kind of naturally. Back then, it really had to be explained to the audience. So again, you already see that kind of consideration of audience in technical writing. After that was the Glass Age. This is a time that new kinds of technical writing came out with the proliferation of the internet. You can think about the reason for that name being we all had to interact with writing through glass now, through our screens. And technical writers were no longer thought of as only writers. You had to be multimedia, like I said in the previous slide, thinking about listeners or viewers. Kirk St. Amant is another researcher in technical writing. He called this the incommensurability of technical communication, and what it means is that it became a word that we don't have one solid definition for. It expands into so many different concepts, so many different fields, so many different genres that yeah, we don't have like that single word for how to describe what technical writing is. And now we're in what we might call the golden age of technical writing, the historical present, where there's technical communicators everywhere. YouTubers have to use our methods in some ways. If you've ever seen someone write a Twitter thread or an essay on Twitter, they're all using technical writing techniques and instant customer service or digital assistants like your Alexa or your ChatGPT or your Siri. These are all devices that are using technical writing and technical communication to get the information across to you. Here are some of the purposes of technical writing. You might be familiar with some of these if you're in E110 because these kind of borrow the same concepts. Um, the first kind of purposes in technical writing might be to just inform your audience. If you think about an about me page on a website or a frequently asked questions page, these just introduce the audience to you or introduce the audience to questions that you see often. Often you'll see technical writing that instructs people, just enables your reader to perform a task. So anytime, if you've ever stopped to pump gas in your car, or been with somebody when they did, you'll see all kinds of stickers on a gas pump that tell you how to do it, that tell you what to do if you have accessibility issues and need some assistance. So those kinds of instructions you'll see a lot. One we'll think about, and I'll ask you to think about in one of your discussions this week, is the syllabus. Is that an instruction manual in some ways? Does it inform you how to pass the course and how to behave in the course and things like that? So that's one we'll talk about a lot in this course, but I have a question mark next to it because I'm willing to be argued with and told that it's something else other than instructional. And then we'll see technical writing to persuade, and maybe you'll see like a join our team page where you're looking to get hired, but you see all kind of information about how this company has the best benefits and the best salary and things like that. We'll go over those examples in the next video, all kinds of fun things. And the last little note here I wanted to point out is, these aren't always discrete purposes of technical writing. Sometimes it's all three at once. Sometimes something informs, instructs, and persuades and does it really well all together. But some questions you can ask yourself is, but what is the dominant aim behind that? And sometimes you will come to just one of these, but sometimes it's multiple. You always should return to what is the reader's aim, purpose, or reception of the communication. Here's an important topic I wanted to go over right at the beginning of this course, and something I'm kind of working with in my own head. So again, I'm willing to be argued with, but I think this is a cool thing to think about within tech comm or tech writing. Here's another definition from Lannon and Gurok. I brought that textbook up earlier. I'll put down citations for this on Canvas so you can find it if you want to do additional research. But in addition to determining purposes of a document from your own perspective, also consider how and why it will be used by others. This is advice for technical writers, and I made this word italicized, used, because so far we've talked about a reader or an audience, but I think a defining word in technical writing for me is this word user. And here's how I think that's different from a reader. So I think a user is an active consumer of a text or an interface like a website, who has a particular goal in mind, right? Like when I visit a frequently asked question page, I have a question in mind that I want answered. If I'm looking at an instruction manual or a set of instructions, I'm looking at it for a particular purpose. I want to find out how the whole product works or how a piece of it functions in order to fix it. So I think of a user as someone with a really clear goal in mind, and they're actively consuming the text for that reason. Whereas I think of a reader as a consumer of a text who's kind of passively looking at it in order to learn, or to just enjoy the reading process. So again, I'm willing to be argued with, but that's how I'm thinking right now. And yeah, for me, good technical writing really considers the user's experience, which Garrett defines as how the text behaves and is used in the real world. So not only, hey, is this well written and interesting, but hey, could a user pick this up and actually use it, and do something important with it? He actually talks about products in his book, but I changed the word to text there. So here are just some features of technical writing, and I'll cover them more clearly in the next video with a bunch of examples. But technical writing tends to be readable and scannable. So readable in this context means it's pretty easy to find the information you want, and you can kind of scan your eyes across the page in order to find it. It's not like you have to read every single word the way you might think about a novel. Legibility, that means kind of once you found where the information is you want, you can kind of understand it once you get there. And in technical writing, you'll see a distinct writing style. Usually the sentences are a lot shorter. We prefer simple words over complicated words, which might be different from academic writing you've done before. And we'll also chunk the information so it'll be in smaller paragraphs or smaller lists, that just make it easier to understand. So it's not a wall of text the way, again, you might think about an essay. Clear headings and hierarchy of information. Yeah, you'll see headings and subheadings that make sure you can follow the document throughout. Again, without reading every single word, but knowing kind of where you are. The use of numbered and bullet pointed lists. I talked about instructions before. You'll usually see step 1, step 2, step 3. Nice numbered or bulleted lists that kind of make it easy for you to look at what you're doing in the real world and also interact with the text in a way that helps. They'll use contrast, so you'll see bolding or other ways to make words stand out, like contrast, or I'm sorry, like italics to create contrast. Again, things you sometimes don't really see in an academic essay, but you will see in technical writing. And then graphics. I put kind of a question mark here because, yeah, we have to think about, are we all graphic designers? Does all technical writing need graphics? These are some questions to think about. But yeah, so that's your introduction to technical writing. Your next lecture this week will just be a video with examples of technical writing that you can kind of think about. You can see this door opening behind me. That's Onyx, again, interrupting our videos. My little cat right under here. But anyway, that's your first lecture, and we'll cover again some examples next one. Thanks, everyone.